In today's video, we are going to be checking out Zach Edey and what he did in his young debut, his first game ever in the NBA. So let's check him out and see what he was able to do on offense and on defense. So let's get down. Really quickly, make sure to go check out the links down below to be able to jump higher if you want to make sure that you can dunk the ball. Okay, so the first thing that we see here is that they switch off. And now, generally speaking, somebody at the height and size of a Zach Edey, you generally do not want to have a switch. You want to stick with your big center. Now, there's technically a mismatch. There's a smaller, faster player being guarded by a bigger, slower, in general, in theory, player. But what do we see right here? Zach Edey gives him enough space because he should be able to understand that his reach, if he was to just have his hand up to contest the shot, he's going to be able to contest it really well, if not block it. So giving an extra little bit of 2-3 feet is going to be able to help him keep up with a player who's going to try and drive past him. Once this player tries to at least start a crossover to try and get Zach Edey onto his heels, try to create a gap for himself to try and drive, what do we see? Zach Edey gets low, he has his hands up, and at this point, it's actually really hard for that player to be able to get by. Zach Edey's feet are nice and wide. He's staying on his toes. He's not getting faked out at all. This player tries to drive by. It actually kind of looks like Memphis is playing some kind of a pack line because they're trying to force middle and closing that gap as well. And that player is then able to force himself, or Zach Edey was able to force that player into a massive turnover early in that game. Now, what I see right here, I actually really like as well. Zach Edey is a big player and really trying to force his will on the court, actually trying to box out. A lot of young players do not put this much effort into trying to box out their defender or their guys they're trying to defend. So absolutely fantastic for Zach Edey. What I see right here as well is something I really like. So right now, this player has the opportunity to pass, maybe a lob pass, or go for a floater, but you generally are not going to be able to finish over top of somebody who's well over 7'4". So a floater would be a generally good idea. However, what we do see is he tries to send that lob, whether it was going to be a lob or a floater. Zach Edey was going to get up there and he was going to block it. Let's face it, how high Zach Edey was able to get on this play is actually very impressive. I've always liked centers who show physicality, and what I mean by that is watch what happens right here. Obviously, there must have been some kind of tension happening throughout this game. However, what we see right here, Zach Edey trying to box out, trying to create space for himself to try and get that rebound if that shot was to go up. Watch what he does to this player who's trying to box him out. He literally gets his elbow into the face and says, "Get the heck out of my way." That's exactly what you need to do as a big man. And even right here, shot goes up. What's he doing? He is boxing out. This is something, again, young players do not do. They just watch the ball. And even though he is a pro, even first-year players will not be boxing out. And here he's able to get that board. Personally, go back up. You could have a massive height advantage. Poster this guy. But either way, he makes a good decision. He passes it out to Marcus Smart, who is then able to hit that three, or at least take that three. Again, Zach Edey should have just went up. And still, again, showing aggressiveness. Watch what Zach Edey does right here. Again, elbow in the face. Referee's right there, not calling anything. Now, I'm not saying that this is something that you should be doing in game, but if you really want to assert your dominance in the game against the other team's center, in my opinion, you have one foul to give to do that, to show that you are the man. Do not box me out. I'm getting this board anyways. And something like this, you can get away with if you are okay with taking one foul, if your coach is okay with you taking a foul. Something like this, in my opinion, is perfectly fine, especially if the referees are not calling it. Now, I feel like this play is going to be one of the most deadly plays in the game. So right now, what we have is basically a horn screen. This is Zach Edey right here. Ja Morant goes over top, and then the other Horns player goes over top as well. And then after this, Zach Edey rolls, or at least pops out at first and rolls towards the basket. What he's essentially trying to do is they're trying to collapse the defense onto Ja Morant, and then Zach Edey comes down on the weak side. Nobody boxing him out because they've collapsed the defense. And because of this, Ja Morant's able to get himself an easy assist to Zach Edey. and this play is probably going to be able to torch other teams for at least the first half of the season, if not the whole entire season. Now, I hope that this video has helped you become a better basketball player. If it has, hit that like button, subscribe. Down in the comments or down in the links in the description, make sure to go check out the Vertical Jump Training book, and that will definitely help you jump higher.